took you long enough.
Yeah, sorry, I had some troubles with the engine.
How's it looking from up there?
Not sure, but it seemed like they deployed a large land unit.
Is it nearby? Will you give me a sec? Mechs. They stomp, they shoot missiles, and they look sick. So naturally, I wanted to make one in Minecraft without any mods, data packs, or resource packs. Just command blocks. The goal? Make a mech that can move, fight, and maybe, just maybe, not blow up my computer in the process. Did I manage to do it? Well, I guess you'll have to find out. Now, before I get into anything, I first need to make a couple of choices. You see, I thought of two ways I could make my mech. I could either use full blocks and move them when needed at the cost of detailed accuracy, or I could use a block display which would just use TP commands for its moving parts. I decided to go with the second option, as I've used block displays many times in the past, so this should be a piece of cake. Okay, so after more time than I would like to admit, I've made a couple block displays for each limb of the mech. But as you can see, it's kind of just floating parts next to each other, so how do we actually put them together? But I've made all of these parts not only have tags, which would be useful for later commands, but I've also made them the passenger of invisible armor stands with the same tag. This way we can basically set a position for each limb relative to what it's connected to. Anyways, before making it move, I wanted to actually be able to spawn it, so now I can give myself this armor stand that when placed will summon the block display. So the current issue is that you can't really get into the cabin, nor can you even stand in it, so to fix this, I summoned an invisible happy guest under the cabin, as well as making it so when you summon the mech, it teleports you into the cabin. And with that, I was almost ready to make it actually move, but I still have one issue. You see, I would have really liked the idea of making the mech have actual arms. However, because this isn't a VR project, controlling them would actually be real hard, plus it kinda bothered me how it looked, so I ended up just switching it to these cannons and now it looks perfect. Anyways, after this, I wanted to make the mech actually movable. So how do we exactly do this? Well, I wanted to make some animations while TPing the entire thing forwards, which I'll explain in a second how it works, but for that I had to manually make every summon command also contain the mech tag. This was fairly simple, I just copied the commands from my command blocks and then used the Google Doc to replace every tag with itself and the additional mech tag.
In theory it should work now. So let's see. Oh. So my game is frozen. Fuck.
So what ended up causing that monstrosity was basically just me accidentally giving the same tag to every piece of the mech that I gave to the thing that spawns it. So I guess we can call it a mech fractal? Anyways, after fixing that tiny issue, it was time to make some animations. Okay, so I don't think you understand how long this took me to figure out, but I finally managed to make a looping walking animation, and I mean, it's not the best, but I'm pretty proud of it, alright? It's not bad. And after making it also have the ability to go backwards, I now needed a way to actually move it from inside the cabin. The way I made this work is by spawning 3 additional armor stands into the cabin. These each have a tag which indicates which direction they're for. First of all, if you try to leave the cabin, you'll get teleported back into it, more specifically, back to this center armor stand. Now if you walk forwards, this armor stand is detected and give a tag to the center armor stand. This then teleports you back to it, as well as putting a redstone block here, which triggers the animation, and at the end it removes the tag. I also made sure that you can go backwards and forwards at the same time, and now it works like a charm. But if you've been on this channel before, you know I love ambience, and I mean, what's a mech without sounds? That's amazing. Anyways, now it was time to make it actually turn. The way I did this is that whenever you would spawn the mech, you would get 2 items. One is named left and the other one is named right, but they're both just a carrot and a stick item with a custom model. The reason why we need this is because I can actually detect how many times you have right-clicked with a carrot and a stick, so by seeing which item is in your hand when the value increases on the scoreboard, I can either turn the entire thing left or right, which is basically just turning the middle armor stand and just making everything else rotate relative to it with some TP commands. So now you can freely move around other than actually going up terrain, and the reason for this is because it would be extremely hard to add procedural animations, and I would also have to add a bunch of colliding checks, and while it would be possible, I have to release this video in like 2 days, so let's focus on other things for now. And don't worry, a mech that can technically only move on one Y coordinate is still gonna be really cool, trust me. Anyways, now it was time to add some functionality to its weapons. Naturally, for that, I also wanted to have the ability to aim. To make this work, I made it so you get another carrot and a stick with an item model of a target. When you hold this in your hand, it summons an interaction entity in the window of the mech, and when you either right or left click on it, the cannons are like, oh wait, we should be looking a different way, and then they copy the rotation of your head. Now obviously I made it so whenever you unequip the item, the interaction entity disappears just to prevent summoning too many of them and potentially causing lag. Anyways, for the actual shooting, all I did was basically just add 2 more items, one for normal projectiles and one for explosive ones. These are of course also carrots and a stick, and it works like a charm. But how did I actually make these bullets work? Well, you see, whenever I use the item, both cannons summon an armor stem with a tag at their position, then rotate it the way they are rotated. Then the bullets start teleporting themselves forwards until they either get close to an entity or hit a block, in which case they cause damage using a little trick involving tags and the /damage command. And I made sure to add a cooldown to the explosions, as without it would be quite the experience. Anyways, now that everything was working perfectly fine, I actually wanted to use the mech for something. You see, at first I was just thinking you would have to fight waves of zombies that attack you, but because you're so high up, that might not work so well. So my second idea was that you would have to defend a villager from zombies in the middle of a circle who would sell you better and better gear until you could unlock the mech. However, that more just sounds like a Hypixel minigame, so yeah, I guess we're remaking a Hypixel minigame. So I made this quick trigger that when pressed will eventually start the rounds, as well as summoning this villager which sells you normal weapons like swords, axes, a mace and some wind charges, a machine of mass destruction. But obviously for the area I didn't want it to be too small so the mech could fit nicely, and because I didn't code collision I also have to make the player somehow not touch the walls. And after a bit of thinking I realized I could just make a little area before the walls which if you cross you instantly lose the minigame, therefore no one would even think about trying to test if the machine has collisions. Now I still needed a design for the area, and my idea is actually quite fitting to the mech team. You see, a while ago I heard about this game called Diesel Knights, which is basically an FPS indie game where you can control mechs and stuff in a dieselpunk world, which I thought was awesome. So naturally I wanted to replicate the feel of these big spaces, so after booting up the demo one more time to look at the reference, I started building. And with that, I was basically done with everything, so after adding a round system, a win or lose screen, and the ability to retry it, it was finally time to show it to some of my friends.
What do we got here? Oh, we got all the things. Mechs Explorer. I just killed the zombies. Oh, that's a no block sound. Is that just another wave? Or, I've got no idea actually. Did he even playtest this? It's so hard. Wait, can I do this? Oh. HB, you're dumb. Mech Spawner. Now. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Left. No way. Right. Guns. No. Aim. Aim over there, please. How is this supposed to work? Right. What am I doing? Oh. Cannons? What? Oh, it walks when I walk? Oh yeah, it's not made for the weird terrain.
Anyways, if you want to try for yourself, the download link can be found in my Discord server, and the link to that is in the description. So yeah, if you're still watching, thank you for acknowledging my little video. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, please consider subscribing, leave a comment if you'd like, and have a nice one.
Should I make an outro? I'm not fully sure. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these kinds of videos. There's another video on the side if you want to watch that. I guess, good night. There you go. You're not gonna use that, are you?